Hello, everyone. This is Ella.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the meet and greet.
Hi.
Hello, good evening, good
Oh,
evening.
hello.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Urania looks happy. I can't see anybody else. Claire, your profile picture looks happy. Kimmy, what's up, Kimmy? How are you?
Hello.
Hey, hey.
How you doing?
Hey, is it Shaquita or
It's Shaquita, but I go by Shay. But I'm giving the baby a bath. I'm trying to multitask.
Hey, Shay. All right, you guys, it is Wednesday nights. You know what that means. It is time for Notary Meet and Greet. Every Wednesday night, we get together just to chat it up. We don't have an agenda necessarily. We just kind of talk it out. And the way we get started is by whoever needs help first. So if you guys have anything that you need or you have a question about or you want, it could be anything from notary related. Maybe you're on the Notary Nerds platform and you have you need a question answered about something. Whatever you need, this is where that happens. So let me get a line started, and you guys let me know who has what need. Claire's got her hand raised. Claire, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Just a quick little housekeeping matter. I'm still receiving emails to my old email address. So do I need to send you another email to orders?
No, the best way to do that is for you to change it. The quickest way is for you to change it. For future reference, if you guys have this issue, Claire has sent me her email and she's asked me to update her email. But the quickest way for that to happen, I'm going to go change it for you now, Claire. But moving forward, you can do anything you need to do by logging in and updating your, profile in Notary Nerds. But I'm going to go ahead on and do that now for you since you've already asked me about it once. Let me go ahead and log in to Kajabi.
Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. All right, so let me go here to people. Claire, what is your last name?
Wesley, Wesley.
Okay, perfect. So I've got two profiles. That's probably what it is. One is the Intellex Biz Solutions at Gmail, and the other one is Claire at Intellex Biz Solutions.
Okay, it's Claire at intellexbizsolutions.com. That's the correct one.
That's the correct one. Okay.
Super. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now there's two accounts. So do you want me to okay, so let me just show you here. Hold on, I'll share my screen. It doesn't have any personal information other than your name and email. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, so this one, I need to keep this email and change it to put that email here, or do you want me to, how do you want me?
You can delete the Intellex, the Gmail account.
Just delete this whole account.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the old one.
Okay. Okay, so let me do that.
All right, yay.
And then, so the correct one is delete.
Claire at,
Oh, just want to make sure I'm not canceling you from being able to see any classes. That's what I'm trying to make sure of now.
oh,
Yeah, hold on just a second. So I think I probably would be better off just changing that email and then, because I don't want to disrupt anything as far as your
oh, yeah.
being
I
able
didn't
to
think about
access
that
it.
either.
Yeah, so hold on, let me just.
Okay.
All right, whoever's next, go ahead and get in line. I'm almost done updating this email. All right, Intellects is gone. Claire Intellects is saved. Oh, now it's telling me it's already taken. So let me go. I have to get rid of it on the other one.
Ah,
Let's go back. All right, so let me edit. And I'm just gonna put my email there. And the old one. All right, save. Go back. And now edit. And get rid of that one. And paste that one. Got you done, Miss Wesley.
okay, thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, so who else we got in line? Urania, how can I help you?
Hey, okay, so I last night finally found out how to get a virtual address. I got a virtual address. It's something that they need me to do. They said something about one of the Home Depot offices won't accept packages from the Prairie address or whatever, something I had to do. Anyway, when you get a virtual address, we got to contact the Secretary of State and IRS, right? For the virtual.
You know what? You're educating me, because let me ask you this. When you say, when you get a virtual address, it's for the notary business, obviously.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
trying to go after government contracts or anything like that? Or is it just?
I will. That's in the making.
Okay, so here's the scoop on that. And Desiree's not on the call, but she said it does work with a virtual address, but you have to make sure it's an address that has an attendant. In other words, somebody that's there was something about the virtual address. So if you are pursuing this whole thing, eventually government contracts,
Yeah.
you might want to make sure I can't remember what it is she said. Either it has to have, it can't just be like a UPS address. It has to be like a Regis address where there's actually, a receptionist if you're going to pursue the government contracts. But to answer your question about the Secretary of State and the IRS only comes into play at the end of the year when you're filing your taxes and the address that you use on your tax form. As far as the Secretary of State, I think that's the address they need for you is the one that you put on your application needs to be. I think you have to have your home address, at least in my state. I don't know. It may not be the case in other people's state.
Okay. I just remember from that last conversation, about whenever you change the address, to notify them. I didn't know if it was just, whenever you change the address period or is,
Yeah, that's a good question though. I think you're right. I think you actually do have to notify the Secretary of State when you've changed your address. Because if say there is a subpoena and the people that are subpoenaing you reach out to the Secretary of State because you're a notary, then they're gonna need your most current, definitely gonna need your most current address. So, yeah.
Because I was trying to get away from using my home address as well. And I thought about it and I'm like, oh no, I'm real private. I don't want nobody like having my home address, for the business. And so I was like, oh no, can't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Go ahead and get you a virtual address. If you can find a virtual address that gives that gives more than just a mail service. And I think that's only if you are going to be doing that government contracting thing sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
Desiree did have a virtual address, but she said that the reason, and she didn't immediately get it accepted when she registered at sam.gov. She had to call someone and explain that there were several different, because there were several businesses that showed up at that address. And that's what kicked her sam.gov registration back. And she had to physically call them and say, hey, this is an office. I have a suite here, da 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 da. And so when she went through, so when I tell you virtual addresses are tricky, they are tricky. But I feel what you're trying to do. You're trying to get people from not having your personal address.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, the Secretary of State is going to need to keep up with you. So you're going to want to make sure you at least keep them up to date on your whatever address, that you physically live at, because they're going to always want that.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Hey,
welcome.
Monica,
Yes.
it's James. How are you tonight?
Doing good, James. How are you?
Good. Just I want to add to that virtual address. Make sure, years working in banking, make sure if you're going to get a virtual address that it will actually work. If you're going to give a bank, if you're going to set up a bank account, the virtual address will work. Give you an example. If you use a UPS address and you try to set up a new bank account, it won't pass the background. They will close down the account on you because it's not a real address. So do the research before you pay for a virtual office to make sure that it will meet all your needs. Broader examples.
Didn't even think
Instead of-
about the bank. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
banking and that
Okay.
type of stuff.
So
Because
like,
you
okay, when you
could-
say meet all your needs, like even like picking up mail or something like that.
Yeah, so if you do some of the research, some of them offer different packages, like just the basic, that you go in and pick up your own mail. But then, like she was saying, was with a receptionist, they actually you can pay them to actually open your mail and scan it and send it to you as well. But when it comes to banking, so if you set up an LLC and on there you give them your home address and you give the bank the home address, it's going to match. But banks know based on the address that you give them if it's a real address or a virtual address. Now, some virtual addresses may pass their criteria and allow you to use that.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is don't lock yourself into a contract on a virtual office or an address if your bank or other places won't accept that address, because then you'd be stuck in a contract and you might end up using several different addresses and get all kinds of things different places. I'm just trying to line up all your
Okay, I
ducks,
got it.
figure out what you need
Yeah.
first, and then buy.
Well, the bank right now, I do have a bank and they have my home address because they wouldn't have opened up my no account unless I had an actual, like you said, an actual address.
Physical address, yep.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And some virtual offices are physical addresses.
okay.
So,
That's good to know. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, James. And so on that note, I finally, for those of you guys who are in the Woman Owned Small Business Mastermind, I finally got my addresses. My IRS ITIN match was done successfully. So here in the next day or so, I'm looking for an email with my cage code. So all of this that we've been talking about as far as addresses are concerned, for those of you guys who are going to pursue any of the certifications, your woman-owned small business, veteran-owned small business, or any of that stuff, you're going to have to get your address situation straight before you begin that process. Because if you don't, you won't ever be able to get past sam.gov, which is the second step in the registration, or the second step in the process. First step is obtaining your DUNS number and then getting the sam.gov registration. So be very selective in selecting whatever address it is that you're going to use, and make sure it's consistent everywhere across the board. All right, who's up? We got Urania's question answered. Anybody else got anything before we start chit-chatting and open up the floor?
I have a question, El Lockett.
Hey, Shay, go ahead.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, El. Oh,
Yeah, I think someone else was talking.
I'm sorry. I thought that was you, Shay. El Lockett, go ahead.
sorry, I didn't lift my hand.
Okay.
There's my hand. Okay. Now I want to get into the class with the to get the minority business thing going, because I have a DUNS number, I have a Sam's account, a NAV account, and all of that. So how can I get into your class to help
Okay.
me finish the process?
Okay, yeah. So on Thursday, tomorrow, well, if you're in the university, the Zoom link is okay. So the Zoom links for any of the classes that you want to come in are going to be in that class. So go in, log in, go to your library, and the calendar will be there to kind of give you a guide as far as what's getting taught that week. So we do email the Zoom links, but I know everybody doesn't get them. Some people aren't subscribed or whatever the case. But you can always get the Zoom link for that upcoming class within that class. There's always going to be a chapter titled Zoom, and then you can go in that link. So tomorrow evening, for instance, we have
Okay, wait a minute. That's in the Nerd University?
correct Notary Nerd.
Okay.
Yeah.
I joined that yesterday, but I couldn't find anything. I guess I was trying to learn how to navigate through it.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. It happens sometimes when at the very beginning. So if you want to, I can do a share screen if you have time to kind of log in, and I can kind of walk you through it, because I'm sure somebody else on the call will benefit from it as well.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
You just holler at me when you're ready, and then I'm going to go ahead and allow for you to share. So just whenever you get ready, just click on share screen at the bottom. Go ahead and get logged in to Notary Nerd University. And then go to your library, and then when you get there, share your screen, and then I'll walk you through how to find stuff.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll go to Shay while you're doing that, but keep your hand up because we're going to come back to you next. Hey, Shay.
Hey, my question is about printers. So I do have a dual tray printer. However, I made the mistake and got the one that was ink from Sam's. It's the Epson one. And it's the inkjet.
Oh.
So I
Can you
know
try
that I know I'm gonna have to take it back, but the problem is, where can I find a printer where I'm not spending a good $1,000?
Anybody?
Lexmark.com.
You said Black Smart?
Lex, Lex, MARK.
Okay, let me,
I'll put it in the chat.
if I can. Well, I can't flip the screen, but this is what I got.
Okay.
And it is dual tray, but it's ink.
Yeah, the title companies don't want you to print laser. Well, Lexmark.com. I know when I was getting ready to try to do loan signings last fall, there were some still on Amazon that the brother, not the one I have a single tray, but it was a brother, the one everybody was recommending you to get was available on Amazon. I think it was like $400 or $500 though, like you say.
Okay.
And it was there was a backlog. It wasn't like readily available. So anybody want to chime in and help Shay out on the printer thing?
This is L Lockett. Amazon does have them. They're just expensive. I called Brother the other day, and they told me they could probably get me one in 10 days because the printer we have at our house is an inkjet, and I can't use it.
Okay.
I've got the same problem.
Okay. And I do have a second question too.
Okay, go ahead.
This is basically for everybody in the group too. I just recently moved from Nashville to Smyrna, and I am trying to rebrand everything. So I officially have like cards, my website, a DUNS number. I have, the LLC, but I'm not gonna lie, like I'm kind of afraid to kind of reach out to people in Smyrna because I don't know this area. So
Smyrna, Georgia?
No, Smyrna, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a Smyrna, Georgia, right? Northwest of Atlanta.
It is. No, I'm in Rutherford County, Tennessee.
Yeah, so you rebranded everything. So you moved to Nashville to Smyrna. So you rebranded, you changed your name and everything?
Yep.
Okay. So now what is your focus as far as your business? Are you targeting a different audience, or is it the same audience?
More a different audience. Like I work for the state of Tennessee. So basically what I did was I've been a notary since like 2011, but mainly the work that I was doing was for my job. So with that being said, any type of legal work, I've done that. As far as like helping a legal with, I work at HR, so helping them with legal work, documenting, paperwork. A lot of people don't realize that you can do I-9s and get the E-Verify for free. So that's what, that type of stuff, like the E-Verify, that's something that I do every day, running people I-9s, and you can get contracts through like Assurian, because they do a lot of work from home. So if you're here in Tennessee and you have somebody, or you have a worker here in Tennessee, but the main office is in like South Carolina, they will send you to a notary. It's a list of notaries that you get, and they will send you like the list of notaries until you go find this person. And their fees are on this spreadsheet, and that's fine. But I would like to get into like mortgages and refinances and things of that nature, because I'm just trying to supplement my income. I'm like, would I like for my business to boom? Of course I would. Everybody would. We're spending this money. We pay taxes on it. Of course I do.
Right.
However, right now I do know I'm trying to get my feet wet, but I got my floaties on.
Well, let me say this. First and foremost, the fact that you've gotten all of that rebranding done with the new LLC and all that, that's number one, thumbs up on that. Number two, I think you're sitting on a gold mine with the I-9s, especially if you having the inroads like you do working at the state. I would double down on that. You're doing that every day. What's about to happen in the loan signing space is it's about to dry up. Okay. So I wouldn't don't get me wrong, still go after it. Get your signing services and stuff like that. With you, it's going to be challenging because most of the signings you have to grab when you can grab them. With you having a full-time job, that's going to mean that you're probably not going to be able to be as competitive when you get a deemed, right, for a signing. So I honestly, if it were me and if I were in your shoes and I had that kind of, access to the I-9 stuff, I would just drill down on I-9s and become the expert in I-9s and spread my I-9 wealth all over. Like I would find other opportunities to be of service with the I-9, especially if you kind of have access to kind of the backdoor people who are utilizing or needing it every day. I would just kind of keep my ear to the ground on that because, I used to be a mortgage professional. I'm in real estate, and I've talked to several people in the industry, and the bulk of the refinance boom is over with. So you're going to always have signings, you're going to always have purchases, you're going to always have buyers, and you're going to always have refis. However, the signing services are going to probably go to those established agents, notary signing agents first. It's going to be making it, when it slows down, it's going to make it even more challenging for the new notary to get in unless you aggressively go direct, which is always something you can do. But I think you've got a gold mine in the I-9s. About how much do they charge for the I-9 service?
It depends. I know before, and just like a little backstory, what kind of got me started into the notary business was we moved from Nashville to South Carolina for my husband's job. And I was working for Assurian, and I do know about this list because they sent it to me, and I was working at home just as a part-time job. And when I went to this lady's house, I promise you, it had to be like a $400,000 or $500,000 house. And I'm like, okay, do you like do this full time? And she's like, yes, you really need to look into it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. So she was just like, what you don't understand is that in South Carolina, she said, I get majority of my money by performing weddings. She said, this is just something extra. And at the time, Tennessee didn't have that. That just passed on April the 28th. So I'm like, okay. And I didn't think too much of it. So when we moved back to Tennessee, I was doing it. I got a job in HR, and I started doing it just nonstop, like the I-9s, the depositions and things like that. So then I thought about it, like this woman told me to look into it probably about 6-7 months ago. I didn't look into it, but here it is. I paid for my own notary. The state didn't pay for it, but I'm doing this for free. So why am I doing this work for free when other people got a $600,000 house? They've made a actual living off of it. So why am I doing this for free at work? So I looked into it in Tennessee, and I did start just doing little stuff. Like if you have a play and there's drinking in a play, well, guess what? They need a notary for that company. So that's how I kind of got, my foot in the door. But when we, I had jobs like, of course, the mortgages and stuff like that. I did, I actually today passed my background check and I passed my test for NNA. So I did that part. I did sign up for LSS. However, I do realize that with LSS, it's more of selling and marketing versus the actual knowledge, but there is stuff to learn there. Like I got a checklist and I've been down this checklist, but it's like I said, like literally where we moved to, there's a title and escrow company across the street.
Right.
And of course I could go over there and be like, hey, I'm new to the neighborhood, but I don't know how some of these companies would feel just walking in there like willy-nilly.
Well, let me say this. One thing you have going for you is you have experience doing the I-9s. So I don't know how that would parlay as far as your marketing is concerned, but you've got experience doing something in the notarial space. So if you decided you wanted to go to that title company across the street, just be honest. Hey, I'm doing this on the side. I know you might need some mobile notaries at night. I currently do I-9s for the state of Tennessee on a regular basis, and I'd be happy to help you with any loan signings. I'm currently, getting trained in that, but I'd be happy to sit with you and do my first couple at a discount in order to be able to do it your way. So you just go in on an honest front and see if they need you, because physically they may need you when they're top one or two notary, because the good notaries can't do more than one thing at one time. So you being available to them for that signing, just let them know you're honest. Hey, I work during the day. I'd be able to come in the evenings, and here I am. Can I help you? So you can start that with the direct, but I think your money is waiting for you in the I-9s outside of the state. So I'm gonna put you on pause for just a second. I'm gonna go to Elle Lockett, so she's got her thing coming up, because you said a couple of things, Shay, that I want to go back to, specifically having a notary at a plate because there's liquor. At that right there, we're gonna have to come back to that. Elle Lockett, let's look at the library. So you've got, and then we got James after Elle Lockett, but the way you want to go is, okay, so here's the course calendar. So this is where you figure out what's being taught. So if you see something on the class that you want to go through, great. Then let's talk about the woman-owned small business, because that's what you want to get in on for tomorrow. So So unfortunately, you can't search. You have to scroll. So scroll, and we're looking for how to become a certified woman-owned business. Holy moly! Yeah, go to page 2. I'm sorry, it's just
Well, no wonder I couldn't find it.
Yeah, there's lots of classes here. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I do wish it was easier to navigate. I do wish, but I've contacted Kajabi, and unfortunately, there's no way to search. So you just kind of have to do this process. Now,
okay.
It may be that it's towards the
well, go back to Shay's problem. Let me find it.
Okay, let me go actually to James real quick, and then
James. Okay. All right.
James, you got the floor.
All right, so I did drop 2 links in the chat about with the printer that I have.
Okay.
And the second tray. Lexmark, it's cheap. It's a little workhorse. It does great. And the other thing, the big selling point for me was the cartridges were actually pretty reasonably priced. They're not overpriced for the toner. So keep that in mind when you're buying a printer. I do have a question. What was it, about 2 weeks ago? When did Jennifer do her Let's Get Social class?
Oh,
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Is that replay going to ever get uploaded, or was there something wrong with the replay that she had, or the handouts she talked about?
I thought it actually was uploaded. It's not uploaded?
No, I just looked before the class. I did not. It says, all it says is the Zoom, the original class date.
Okay. Elle Lockett, could you go up to the, because sometimes they're in different sections. I don't know if you've hit, what you call it, see or continue more, because sometimes they put them in, we're trying to get consistent with where we're putting the replays. So we're working on that. Okay. So let me, while she's up, I'm gonna let her click on this real quick, and then we'll go back and look at that. And because Roxana she told me this morning she was caught up with everything. So I'm confused as far as why it's not in there, but real quick, but we'll figure it out. Elle Lockett, could you click on this, how to become a woman-owned certified business real quick?
Yes.
and just hit view product. And then we're gonna go look at the Let's Get Social replay too. Okay, so we're looking for the Zoom. So scroll down. Okay, so
Oh,
you see
right
there?
here.
Right.
Yeah.
Every class, what we've been working on the last couple of weeks, in addition to make sure everything's uploaded, which we sound like we missed the mark on something, we've
Yeah.
been working on making sure every class has a Zoom and a replay chapter.
Okay.
So whenever you see a class on the calendar, go find it and then look for your Zoom link. And when you click there, you'll find the actual link for the class and you can join it. But also you're gonna, if you're subscribed, you'll get an email as well. Do you mind, now that we found this, do you mind going to Let's Get Social real quick so I can kind of look into that?
Let's Get Social.
I think it's gonna be on the first page because it's in the marketing section. I've kind of got them categorized a little bit. I think it was on either page 1 or 2.
Let's Get Social is on page 5. I'm just looking at it on mine.
It is?
Yeah, page 5, yeah.
Oh, my
okay.
bad.
Hold on, we'll get there.
Yeah, like it, you didn't know you were gonna end up being the navigator tonight, did you?
That's okay. You know, my dad was a navigator in the Coast Guard.
Well, look at that.
Ah!
Okay, let's see here. And then go back, go down. Okay, so I know what happened. She didn't make it published. Hold on, I bet you anything. Stay tight, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to products. Let's Get Social.
Now, is this the meeting that the one that you're gonna have in Nashville I'm gonna come there and get some hot chicken?
Now, I don't know about the hot chicken. Now, if you get you some hot chicken, you let me know about it. Because I don't know about the hot. They say, okay, so Let's Get Social is not in there. The replay is here. The chapter, I just added it. But I'm looking at the content, James, and you're right. It's not in there. I apologize. So let me see here. That was done on.
No need to apologize. Stuff happens.
Yeah, we're supposed to. Well, this was all week. We've been supposedly auditing these, and we missed this one. So I will make sure that gets. I'm going to send Roxanne an email or a text real quick to let her know that we missed that one. And hopefully it'll be in there first thing in the. Actually, know what? She's off. So here's the deal. She sets up the Zoom link, so the Zoom recording goes to her, which I don't get. So I don't even get to, I can't even access it right now without her going into her Zoom. So and she's off tomorrow. So what I'm gonna ask her to do tonight is to log in and send it to me so I can get it uploaded for you. Hey, Roxana. The replay.
Hey.
Are you on here? Oh, I thought that was her. It's not uploaded on.
Let's Get Social.
Yeah.
It's on the 5th link. I think 5th.
Hey, Monica, how are the Spanish lessons going?
Haha, I haven't started yet. But Roxanne is going to be, she's been listening or going to be listening to your class and hopefully we'll get it translated. Okay, James, I've got Roxana on deck. We're going to get that taken care of right away. And before we go on, let's see if did you have any more questions or anything else?
I have one question about, you're really promoting, which is an amazing thing because women run the world and the women own businesses is something I think everybody should actually be listening to because, again, I think it's an important thing for everybody to do. But my question is that more, can that be more generalized in stating that since a certification, like I would fall under the LGBTQ community, would that be the same steps if I watch that class to get into that type of certification?
That is actually no, and here's why. Every one of those social, what are they called, certification programs has their own process. All of them look exactly the same on the front end. They all have to have a DUNS and they all have to have a SAM.gov. After that, they get different. The minority owned, the LGBTQ, the women owned, the veteran owned, they all have their own set of things that you have to do. So at the beginning, everything is the same. Everybody's got to go get their DUNS number. Everybody goes to SAM.gov and then gets their cage code registration. But then that's about it. Similarities in. And the similarities, the differences start with the NAICS codes. So every one of those certification programs has their own set of NAICS codes, which is the North American Industry Classification System, that they will allow. So that's where your big difference is going to be in knowing which certification or knowing which NAICS codes are going to be acceptable for your for that particular certification. And then they all have their own application portal. So they do differ after you get your SAM.gov registration.
So it sounds like the first half of the steps would be, and then the research I pick up from that, where you're talking about the NICS codes, I do the research and go that direction.
Correct. Okay. Yes. And you're welcome. Look, but you're welcome to come in and get the first and get what you can get from the woman-owned small business on the front end, because like I say, all of that is completely the same. We just marketed it that way because that's the end goal. That group of women is trying to get that certification. So that's why that class is titled that. We do have a SAM.gov class that does walk you step by step through the SAM.gov registration. DUNS is nothing. You go to DUNS and Bradstreet and you get your DUNS number. That's no big deal. The SAM.gov, though, is a little bit more tedious. It's about a 45-minute process. It's going to have some issues. You know, if things don't match up, you'll get kickback. So it's a little bit more to it. But yeah, to answer your question, they are going to be different. Okay. Roxana just texted me. Okay, wait a minute. She thinks she put it in the other class. Okay, I'll just know, James, I'm on that Let's Get Social thing, and we'll get that figured out.
I'm going nowhere. So.
But yeah, definitely plug in with us. I mean, who knows? It could have, you know, I don't know about, we haven't gotten to the place where we're actually doing the application on the woman-owned small business anyway. We're still all hovering in the SAM.gov. I just got my registration approved today. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 people in the group that have finished SAM.gov and actually started on the certification. So you're welcome to join us. Absolutely welcome to join us. Okay, you're welcome. Shay, back to you real quick. And this notary and this play and this alcohol. Okay, I'm gonna need you to help us out with that. What is that all about?
I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
So you mentioned that you said something about a play and that a notary is needed if there's drinks served. Did I hear all that right?
Yes, you did. Okay. So I got, at one point I was on I guess like a list, you know how they have a notary gets on a list. Somebody just randomly called. And what it is they have these live plays where you can pay the actors, like they'll have a play, but you can buy a drink for the actor. But where the notary comes in is that the company has to make sure that they are not a liability if that actor goes out and get like a DUI or anything like that, that company or that entity is not liable. So they make sure that you actually verify 2 things. One, you have to verify that they are 21 and above.
Okay.
That's where the ID comes in. The second part is you're notarizing to say, hey, this person has signed this document and they understand that the company is not liable. Now, understand as a notary, we can't explain that to them. They have to read that document. Only thing that we do is verify that you are who you say you are.
Right.
But it was in Nashville and they have it quarterly, honestly. They have it like this play quarterly. And I want to say it can be maybe 10 to 25 actors in this play.
And so you get paid per notarization, I'm assuming.
$10 per person, yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. And plays don't happen every day, but I mean, come on, that's a nice little niche to know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's something that not everybody knows about. And if you've got a healthy theater and arts district in your city, why not? You know, why not get in contact with them and let them know that you are available as a notary, and you might even get a free play out of it. Who knows? So
yeah. And they're you know what? Those are the most nicest people that I work with. I never have an issue with these people. And they always have their documentation. They always have their documentation. You never have to say, I got to turn you away because we don't have it. They always have it. And it's like, all I need is a driver's license or an ID or a passport. What do you have? And they always have it. And what I do is just line them up and stamp them and get my money.
What's the most that you've notarized in a play?
About 25.
Not bad. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all, you guys. Shay just dropped a nugget. Hello, the Theater and Arts District. Get on put that on the rotation. Look, see, Lorica asked a question that you might be able to help us answer. How much can you make with I-9?
Well, with the I-9s, it depends. Okay, so it's kind of tricky with that too. So one, you can don't ever forget, you can always charge a travel fee. That's the other part to that.
If your state allows it.
Yes, if your state allows it. So like for the state of Tennessee, if I'm in Smyrna, but you call me at, 8:39 and say, hey, my job just told me I have to have this I-9 completed by tomorrow, I'll come to you in Nashville, but you're going to pay my travel fee, which honestly, I just charge the 56 cents a mile. I really do. I don't get greedy. So it can be tricky. On the form that they send you, like I'm just referring back to Assurian, you have some who charge $5, but it can go all the way up to 50. It all depends on your need and your proximity to that person. So you can really just charge your own set of fees.
And who can give me a real quick understanding? And I know this class is on the platform, and I'm telling on myself because I have not gone and taken the class. What is an I-9? What is that? What is that even all about?
I-9 basically says that you can legally work in the United States. They're verifying.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
They're verifying that you can work in the United States, meaning even, okay, so that can get tricky too, because you can have a visa to work in the United States. However, if that visa has a time limit, we can only work you for so long before we get fined. Like a company can get fined if they work you past that visa.
I got you. Okay.
So that's what that is. But again, like I said, always understand there are some companies that will charge you for you to verify I-9s. You do not have to pay for it. You can go to E-Verify, which is through the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. You can set that up for free. And on top of that, before they even let you begin to complete the I-9s, there is a training that you have to do that take you step by step of what you need, what you have to enter and everything like that. And it's free. It's free.
Yeah, Georgette went through that training and she told me about it. And she was like, you know what? This might be a good class for me to teach on Notary Nerds. So she taught the class, but I never plugged in or haven't watched the replay. So I didn't know what it was all about. And I keep hearing about it. So she apparently did that exact same thing, went through the training. And it was like soon after she just came and taught on it. So whatever she learned, she put in the training. So if you guys want to learn more about it, definitely take a look at that class. Okay, thank you very much, Shay, for sharing with us. I really appreciate it. James, did you have another question? Your hand's still up?
I forgot to take it down.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure. All right, you guys, the floor is open. What are we going to talk about? What is going on? Let's hear from whoever has anything exciting. I'm going to go first.
Me,
Look, I had to hop in here real quick. I'm going to go first. I met with a company today who is interested in doing an exclusive agreement with Notary Nerds University on deposition. So just know we are
Notary Nerds.
Yes, we are about to have weekly deposition classes on the platform. It's going to be, there's 4 classes that we discussed today, and we're going to run them weekly. So, one class 1 week, and it's going to be each month, those same 4 classes. They actually also talked about witness statements. They're going to do depositions, witness statements. They're going to walk you through a deposition from the beginning to the end. They're going to show you how to make money with depositions and give you an opportunity to come on board with them to do depositions. So,
all right, I like it.
Just get ready. Okay, so that's all I had. So let me be quiet. I think Urania, you were about to say something before I hopped in. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, I was about to say some exciting news for me is number one, I'm about to get my house refinanced so I can do some work on it. With that refinance, now I got putting some money to the side so I can put more into my business. And every platform that I can get on, especially with that attorney list, I'm getting ready to pay for that.
Nice.
About a week or so.
Very, very, very
Yeah,
good.
I'm on board.
I'm excited to hear how your signing goes and how the notary does on your refi.
Yes.
All right, who else we got? What else we got going on? Anybody? You can raise your hand or you can pop off of mute, whichever is easier.
I have a question. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
About taking your classes. Are you so the $37 that covers is per month, but is that like for instance, if I were to join today, would that just be to the end, the $37? Would that just cover like to the end of this month?
Oh, no, that's a good question. And you sent me an email too, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing this question up. And I apologize I hadn't gotten back to you yet. That was my plan tonight, is to go back through all. I got about 2 days worth of emails to go back through. Your $37 membership is 30 days at a time. So whenever you start, it's 30 days from that day to the end.
Oh, okay.
So it'll renew itself unless you cancel it. So in effect, if you don't want to deal with that recurring membership piece, and you see a class that's coming up that you want, just sign up for one time. Like that day, you can sign up literally and cancel that same day and still have access for 30 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Anybody else? Shay, I'm gonna pick on you again. You said you mentioned something about having done depositions, right? Do you remember how much they were paying for those? Because the guy today that I was talking to the company, they were like maybe $25 an hour, but you don't have to go anywhere and you're just on the computer zooming and that kind of thing. Was that your experience?
Yeah, that was one of those free situations because I worked for Department of Corrections. So that was one of the breaking points between that, witness statements, and here's the other thing they had me doing for free. So because I work for Department of Corrections, going to notarize inmate stuff. So
oh wow, they get you caught up in doing all of that for free, huh?
They got me good. They got me real good. Yeah. And I was just oblivious to the fact that people were getting paid for it. So they got me good. And the thing is, now that I'm sitting here listening to a lot of this stuff, I do want to get more training. I'm not ready to hit the ground running. I am going to learn as much as I can before I do it, because I don't like to be that person who, I'm not gonna lie, not this notary group, but I'm in plenty of notary groups. And I hate to see notaries just go pay their $12, go get the notary, go get their bond and their insurance and stuff like that, and then ask basic questions in a Facebook group. I hate that. And the reason why is because the training is out there. It's going to cost you, but what's the $60 training for a $250 job?
Yeah,
that's just me. But a lot of this stuff, yeah, I do have the knowledge to do it, but I don't have the knowledge to do it from an actual like independent notary standpoint. I have it from, I worked this job and they suckered me into it and I was doing it for free.
Right. And they don't even tell you if you're doing it right on the job. They don't even know.
Exactly. That part too. So like our legal department, one thing that they would do, and they kind of, I kind of rub people the wrong way with it, is they would be like, hey, I got this and we got to go to court next week, but I need a notary. And I'm like, what is it for? And it's like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. No, I do need to worry about that because I'm not going to jail for y'all. Like, I don't want to be on the other side of correction. So no, I don't want to be cleaning the 6th floor of central office because I notarized some paperwork for you guys. So no. So like I said, it was, they got me good. They really did.
Good for you for knowing your strength and power when it comes to your commission, because it is your commission and you do get to decide what happens with it. And in the state of Tennessee, as you know, we can't refuse a reasonable request. However, you do have the right to be able to ask questions about, what's happening and whatnot. So to that point, I hope you can make it. July 23rd and 24th, I have a title company owner that's going to be doing purchase packet, seller and buyer side, and a refinance packet. We're going to grab a VA refi packet, and we're going to also do commercial training. So it's going to be at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Murfreesboro. It's $147. It's Friday night karaoke, so it's not training on Friday. We're going to just kind of network, have a little food. Saturday, I'm going to feed you lunch, and you're going to be training all day. So if you want to come and plug into that, I don't know if you're in the Facebook group or not, but the link to that whole registration thing is in the Facebook group.
Okay,
So,
I will be there.
Okay. All right. Who else we got? What's going on, people?
I'm sorry, you said July or this month?
No, it's going to be July 23rd and 24th.
Okay, good. Yeah. That'll give me time to get some money. All right.
There we go. And that's another thing too. I'm glad you said that, Urania. When you guys start spending, make sure you're leading with revenue. So for instance, if you want to do something, okay, it costs $150. I'm not going to pull that money out of my savings. I'm not going to pull that money out of any money that I got stashed. I'm going to go make that money. I'm going to go figure out how to get that money. That way you're leading with revenue. That way your business doesn't cost you money, or you want to minimize the amount of money your business does cost you. Let me put it that way. Okay. It sometimes can happen, sometimes it can't. Like when you guys that are buying your hardware, you're gonna have to spend on that. You haven't made any money yet. So those are part of your business startup expenses. But after you've gotten your business startup expenses kind of identified, you want to be careful where you're spending. Wherever you're spending needs to be able to bring you back money pretty quickly. If not, then you might want to wait and make money with the business startup costs that you've already put out, then start spending.
Okay.
Coming from somebody who's been there, done that. Okay, just trust me on that.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely now you have a thing to go focus on making some money for. What else we got? Anybody? Anything else?
Yes, this is L. Lockett again.
Hey.
I think I have a little complaint.
Okay.
I got the signing job yesterday. Can't remember, signing orders, maybe. And I accepted it. And then when I went to their little website, it says, well, it didn't give me any information. It just says, well, if we choose you, then we'll give you the information.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. So
then why tie up my time waiting on them and they don't choose me? And I didn't get anything else from them. I guess they didn't choose me.
Maybe not. And so and somebody else can probably speak to this a lot better than I can, because I didn't go that route. I didn't sign up for the signing services, but I've heard a lot. And sometimes they put that blast out there, and then they see who's going to take it, and maybe there's a little negotiation back and forth, and then they end up accepting it. And so kind of, yeah. Anastasia, you want to chime in on that?
No, I have a separate question. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, go ahead, Sebastian.
And what Monica said is right. Basically, they put a blast out. It's called a cattle call. They send it out to all the notaries in a certain group. It may be a group of 5, it could be a group of 10, it could be a group of 50, however they have their system set up. And what they're looking for is the closest notary to them, that's the closest to their threshold that they want to pay. So let's say that threshold is $100. They're looking for the notary that is closest, that is only going to cost them that $100. Now, that's not to say they won't go over that or under that or whatever, but they're trying to find what's closest to their need. And so you may say yes, and they say, okay, well, we'll get back to you if we choose to go with you. But what they're waiting for is those other offers to come in to see who fits the bill for them, and then they choose from that pool. So it's a
little unfair. Yeah, it's a little unfair because they text me yesterday for signing today at 3 o'clock. So that means I have to wait all day to see if they're going to send me docs. all the way
No,
up to the time of the
no, ma'am, because what you have to wait for is to see if they accepted you as the notary. Then you have to worry about docs, because you're not gonna, if they didn't say you're approved or you've been chosen, then you're not on the hook for anything.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so basically they're like, okay, we have that. When they send you that, they're like, okay, we know that you're available. Great, we'll get back to you.
Oh, okay.
If we choose you, then we'll get back to you. So unless you hear another phone call or an email from them, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd go on about my day and keep an eye out on your email and text messages and phone calls. But I wouldn't worry myself about it until they actually call and say, hey, can you do this for us?
Oh, okay. Because I didn't get anything else back from them, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Wait around? No, I end up having something else to do anyway.
Yeah, that means they went with somebody else. So.
Thank you, dear.
I would just take my energy and just sign up for some more signing services or look for some direct to sign up with while you're waiting for stuff like that, because it's a mind game at that point. Fill your pipeline, fill your time by looking for other work, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I thank you very much for that, guys.
James, I found it. It's the replay to how to build a Facebook and Instagram. She put it under its own thing, under how to build a Facebook and Instagram business account. That was actually the Let's Get Social. We're cleaning things up, but it's uploaded, the replay, but you'll find it under how to build a Facebook and Instagram business account.
Sweet, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, who else we got? Anastasia.
Yes, I first want to say, Monica, thank you for your suggestion on my business name. I did go ahead and change it to A. Marie Notary Services instead of Washington. So I'm happy about that.
Sounds good. Flows real nice. I love it.
And so my second thing is a question. I kind of overheard in another group. I have my DC notary through my job, and it is a government agency. But when I signed up to be a notary, they put my name on the notary directory. And I've done some signings outside of my job, but I was advised that I shouldn't do that. I mean, I'm not really sure how that works. So I called DC Notary, but they're not in the office to take my call. So I'm just wondering if anybody know anything about that.
I can chime in from an entrepreneurial point of view and say your notary public commission is in fact yours, and after work hours, what you do with it is completely your business. Anybody else in a corporate work environment where you're a notary and you can have experienced what she's going through and can maybe give her some confidence to be able to step out and do what she needs to do to make money?
So I've worked for banking for many years, and usually with banking, I'll give you an example. I used to work for Chase. They blanketed every single employee under the umbrella as if they were licensed investment bankers, regardless of what your situation was. So I'm an operations manager, back end, front end, find solutions to problems type thing. I would never became FINRA licensed, but I was still treated as if. Reason being is they wouldn't allow you to have second jobs without approval.
Oh.
Because they wanted to protect the firm and the brand from that. So there's no conflict of interest. So let's say I wanted to go get a job with a legal office, and that legal office does things for certain other banks. Well, that could be something. So they try to eliminate that type of thing. So that could be what that person was trying to tell you, is to steer clear of conflict of interests, especially if you're working in government.
Okay, yeah. I'll consult with one of the attorneys that I work with, because I do notarize a lot of documents for the job, which was the initial intention of becoming a notary for DC, or in DC, was for work. But like I said, when I signed up, DC government, they just put my name on the list for outside folks to contact me. I've done one through that listing of people calling me, but I haven't done anything outside of my job. And I've been doing this for 8 years.
Let me chime in real quick, and then we're gonna go to. Go ahead, James.
I was just going to say, check with an attorney, or especially your HR, to make sure that you have no clauses written in there that you can't do that kind of work.
Okay.
And then Anastasia, real quick, after talking to the deposition company today, the fact that you kind of already are working in that space, and those attorneys are familiar with you, because attorneys don't really do business with people off the street.
Right.
You might have an opportunity, as long as, like they're saying, it's not any kind of a conflict, to kind of build that deposition business, and they be okay with it, you know? Okay. So I don't know, it sounds like you're kind of in a sweet spot potentially too, either way. So
Okay.
Go ahead, Shay.
Thank you.
By you being you, okay, so let me ask this question. Are you an actual state employee?
I work for Postal Inspection Service.
What I would do, and I can't speak on DC, I can speak on the state of Tennessee. So how it works with the state of Tennessee is this: once you get your notary, it does not matter who pays for it, it's yours. But the way the state of Tennessee works is we have just a simple form that you fill out to say, hey, I have a side business or I have a second job. And what it is you're just letting your supervisor know, you're letting upper management know, like, yeah, I do have this notary. Yeah, y'all pay for it, but it's still yours. They can't take it away. Even if you quit your job tomorrow, you're still notarized. You're still a notary. So you can still notarize documents. So
but
I would just,
I'm registered under my job for my commission, because my job had to write a letter indicating that, because I don't live in DC, I live in Maryland. My job had to literally write a letter to say that I'm doing it because of my job.
Okay, that's different, because basically that would kind of count as a dual notary because you don't actually live in that state. So that's a little different.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like James was saying,
is a notary by extension.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get clarity from the, like you say, when you talk to somebody that and remember this too, not all attorneys are up to date on the latest notarial laws.
Well, you ain't gotta tell me they ain't up to date on work laws.
Okay. So even though you might go to them and ask, I would still reach out to someone at the Secretary of State in addition, just simply on, just to double, triple check. But you definitely need to check with somebody.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, what else we got, folks? All right, if you guys don't start talking, I'm gonna go binge watch Law and Order SVU. What's happened good? Anything?
I'll just say this has been very informative, and this is my first time calling in, and I really appreciate it because I've had my moments where, I'm not gonna lie, I just want to quit. So I really enjoyed it, and I just so happened to find Notary Nerds. Honestly, I liked someone else's page on Instagram, and you guys popped up, and I was like, well, let me like it too.
What? Okay, good job, Elijah, because he's been working on my Instagram. I got like 900 followers on Instagram now, and I'm trying to get it going there and TikTok. So that's good to know. Speaking of which, if you guys could drop in the chat, how did you find out about Notary Nerds? How did you find out about Notary Nerds? If you could drop it in the chat. And Kimmy, you got your hand up? Go ahead.
Yes, I was asking permission first before I talked about my good thing that happened.
No, go ahead, share away.
So I started a YouTube channel, actually. I'm in the state of Georgia. And the reason I started it, because there's a lot of information, a lot of YouTubes out there about notaries, but it's often seen that Georgia notaries cannot make money. And that's just not true. So I hear so many people, once they find out I'm a notary, they often ask me all these different questions. So I said, it seems like there's a need for that. So I started it, and I wanted to talk. That's why I was asking you earlier, can I mention your program? Because I've learned so much from you, and I think everybody can share. And I hear you say it's enough for everybody to feed and all that. And I've been blessed to have good people around me, and that's why I started it, so I can share with other notaries. And the response has already been overwhelming, and they just can't believe I share the information with them that I do. And it's not a secret, but it's just people keep it kind of guarded. So that's it. I just wanted to share that, and thank you.
Drop a link to your YouTube channel in the chat so we can support.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you guys. And I wanted to tell the other young lady, Miss Lockett, I had an incident yesterday, really briefly. I had accepted the assignment. I'm supposed to go to the assignment, and it was for 7 p.m. I didn't have the docs by 5. Someone called me for general notary work around 6. And I said, you know what? I still don't have the documents. I'm not going to miss out on my general notary work waiting on them. And they called the client and told the client that it was canceled because her husband had to sign off, but they never called me. So they never called me ever. So my point is, like the other gentleman was saying, at a certain point, I mean, it's on them. I mean, I did all my due diligence. I even called the client and say, hey, I haven't gotten the documents yet. You know, I don't know if this is going to happen. And then I finally called her a little bit later. She said, oh, they called me. And she said, I thought you would be the first that they called. I said, no, ma'am, I never received a message, period. So you got to do sometimes best for your business after you try to, you know, do what you can for the signing company. But I would have almost missed out on that general notary work trying to wait for them.
Right.
So, but thank you all for everything. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely. And congrats on the YouTube channel. And you guys, you know, follow suit. Okay. When you know, kind of, even those of you who don't think you're experts in anything, you have something to offer. You have maybe something that you know a little bit better than everyone else. Start a YouTube channel. If it's something that's a how-to, you want to start it, even like we were talking about the I-9, Shay, you can start you can do a couple of videos on that and then see what happens. You guys had to get yourselves from out behind, you know, just the one thing, and then try to do some of these other things, get your YouTube started. I did get advice from my millennial children that if you start a YouTube, try not to convolute it with so many different topics. Make sure you kind of stay focused on, if you're going to do one on gardening, make it on gardening. If you're going to do one on notary, make it on notary. People get confused when you do it too much. So whatever you do decide to do on your YouTube, make sure you do, you know, like what Kimmy is doing. She saw a need, because you're right. Those Georgia notaries are not sharing the wealth. And it's an attorney state, and they're down there making money, but nobody is saying how exactly. So you stepped into something, and you might, you know, ruffle a couple of feathers because you're telling some of the goods. But what I have found is the more that I give, the more that I get. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Just keep doing, you know, what you're doing and being a resource. And right behind that, I'm gonna give you guys a little game. Set up a Facebook group as soon as your following starts to take off, right? Don't wait too long if you start seeing or do both of them simultaneously. So, you know, while you're starting your YouTube channel, go ahead and start your Facebook group too, to give people a place. And I know there's a lot of Georgia specific Facebook groups out there, but there's also a lot of notary groups out there. And look at the notary groups that keep popping up and growing. So take notes, you guys. Suzette, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Hey, Monica, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
This question is this is for Kimmy, because I also live in Georgia as well,
okay.
In the metro area in McDonough. And I would love to follow what you're doing on YouTube just to find out for myself what else is out there. And I've attended a couple of your classes, Monica, so I am working on the permit runner. I've just finished working on my business cards and getting ready to do some postcards on that. With, I think Miss Cynthia was the one.
Yes.
Class. So I did take that class as well. So, and then apostille, I'm looking at that as well. I've taken that class and received my certificate. So now that I have a break, school is out, is my opportunity to get it all in before it starts so I can get up and running. So hopefully this coming school year will be my last school year. So we'll see. But Kimmy, I would like your information on your YouTube, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm gonna drop it in the comments, and then feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Monica.
You're welcome. And you know what? I have a love and a sadness when I hear an educator trying to come out of the classroom, because I know how few of you guys there are left that are, you know, that are good at what you do. And my mom is one of them. And one of my real estate agents is one of them. And they both are trying their best to get out of the classroom. So thank you for your service. And it's probably going to be a huge loss when you do leave the classroom, but I totally understand the need. So
Yes, and I understand where they're coming from as well.
y'all could probably sit around and just really talk, you know.
It's just not enough time in the day.
Yeah, unfortunately. Claire, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to follow suit with kudos to you and compliments for this group. I have learned so much. I've enjoyed it so very, very much. And the information is top quality. And it has really, really been a source for me to really get grounded in this area. And I really, really appreciate it. Secondly, I'm focusing on Ron's primarily and apostilles. And I have, just like the young lady spoke before, feeling a little bit overwhelmed and all of that. I feel like I have so many things that I need to do and take care of, just little things to tie it all together.
Right.
I am in the second part of training on the Notarized platform.
Oh, good.
And I'm looking at possibly One Notary as well. But if there's anyone who is willing to buddy up, and so that I can at least have someone I can share not only frustrations, but also any, successes along the way with Ron's, I would really appreciate it. And if someone in particular is aware and very knowledgeable about the Notarized platform, I would really, really appreciate it.
Zara isn't on here tonight, or else she could tell you all about it. Real quick.
I reached out to her, last week.
Okay.
But we just haven't connected.
Okay, I will reach out to her and let her know that you're still eager to speak with her. And in the meantime, Jennifer Davison is on the One Notary platform, I think. Anyway, she's a Ron Notary. She taught Let's Get Social, the class that James and I were talking about. She taught that it's actually how to get your Facebook business page and Instagram. We just messed the names up. Anyway, she's going to be teaching a Ron marketing class coming up soon. So it's more tailored to Ron, title companies, and I think she's going to do a little bit about attorneys and some scripting and some things. She's got over 1,000 Ron signings under her belt. She's actually on the One Notary, all the notaries that get flipped across the pictures and whatnot.
Yes.
So she will be definitely I'm going to make sure I connect you and her as well. I may even just do that in an email tonight so that you have that resource.
Super. Thank you so much, because I'm kind of struggling with that right now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's see here. James, go ahead. You got your hand up.
So you and I had an email chat not too long ago, and kudos to you. I came across you on Facebook, and the energy and the excitement really is what keeps me coming back. You have knack about connecting to complete strangers. You have the sale. I can see why real estate fits you. No question about it. If you're going to sell me a house I couldn't afford, I'd probably buy it.
I wouldn't sell you when you couldn't afford. That's the thing about me. I definitely wouldn't do that to you. But thank you.
So, I echo everybody else. But back to folks that we had a conversation a couple minutes ago, where you had that order come in and they hadn't selected you, and it gets to be a mind game. I made a mention. Everything sounds very like a cliche, but you have to remember, you're no longer an employee, you're an entrepreneur. That's the biggest difference. You've got to take your head out of the employee. You're not a W-2, you're a 1099. And it echoes off the fact is that if you can't afford to buy that supply right now, go out and find the work to pay for it. And you've got to figure that out. And it's got to be short term. You got to have a small budget. If you're going to go over that budget, you need to figure out less than 20 days how you're going to put that money back in before that credit card bill comes due. It's a very hard thing to do. And, we all talk, we all have something to offer, but I've been taking myself outside these notary groups. There's a lot of different courses out there that you can pay for free to help you with that entrepreneurship mindset. You no longer answer to a boss. You no longer answer to HR. You no longer answer to the VP or the CEO or whoever you work for. You answer to yourself at the end of the day, you know, and if you're not getting the orders, you got to go jump, get out of your chair and go find that work. And again, it's a tough thing for all of us because it's a mindset. And sometimes we get discouraged and we don't want to get out of that recliner and we want to watch Law and Order SVU all the time. So
Point, very, very, I mean, very well said. And piggybacking off of what James just said, back over to Anastasia. Honestly, Anastasia, what I really wanted to tell you was don't ask anybody nothing, just go get your money. That's what I really wanted to say. But I didn't want you to go to jail and then come back and be like, Monica told me, and notary nerds. But to his point, as an entrepreneur and how you know that you are getting that mindset shift is you don't ask people for permission. You beg for forgiveness. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. But it's already done. But prudence, you're employed with these people and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of, that's why, but normally what I would do is ask. You don't want to go asking people for a lot. And that's sometimes what happens when we have not yet fully made the shift from W-2 mindset to entrepreneurship. And it's hard, especially if you're still employed. If you're still employed with someone, that's going to be your first course of action. Let me go ask and make sure this is okay. Whereas once that mindset shift has happened, even if you are currently employed, you're not going to ask anybody anything. You're going to go find what the law says, and you're going to make sure that you're not messing up when it comes to the law. And that will be that. But it's never a bad idea when you're employed in the situation that you're in to go to double check. But to James's point, if you guys haven't heard my story, I gave you a little bit. I just put all my dirty draws out on the front yard, okay? In the entrepreneurship mindset shift class, I told you guys what I went through this last 6 months, some of the decisions that I made that most people would not have made. But had I not made them, I wouldn't be where I am today with this business. So you almost, like if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich yet, you need to get that kind of, you need to start to, if you know right now that you are not yet an entrepreneur in your mind, then you need to start feeding your mind. You need to be very intentional about surrounding yourself with like-minded entrepreneurs like you're doing here, but you also need to get some reading in, folks. Like, this is not going to come to you through osmosis. You're going to have to physically be intentional. Instead of watching Law and Order or the Kardashian reunion or whatever, you're going to have to be in Think and Grow Rich. You're going to have to be in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You're going to have to get your mind where you need it to be, because then you'll turn into this box. It'll slowly happen, but you're not going to ask anybody for anything. You're going to start doing things. You're going to start making decisions. And you see it in the Facebook groups all the time. What should I do with this logo? What should I do? What do you mean? Make a decision. You have bigger fish to fry. We shouldn't be laboring over your logo. You know what I'm saying? Even though I do that all the time. But you see my point, right? You don't want to, there's certain things you don't necessarily need to always get a consensus on. Some things you need to just do after you've done your research. And that happens slowly once you become like that mindset shift. So thanks for bringing that up, James. Anybody else?
I have something else to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as that mind shifts from W-2 to entrepreneur shift, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad 10 years ago. And that book, did you all read that? Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki?
That was we haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad yet as a group, but I have personally read that book twice. Yes.
That book will really help you to see how you can shift the difference. It shows you the difference and how you can see that you can be an entrepreneur. I just love the book. And
yeah, we might need to do a dual book. We might need to do a dual book club. And for those of you guys who are participating in our current book club, we're reading Robert's Rules of Order, specifically because our organizations need structure when it comes to meeting minutes. And once you are engaging, or if you're planning on engaging in the government contracting process, a part of your them looking at you will be looking at your corporate documents. And what better thing for them to see in judging your capability to perform on that contract than seeing that you have a system in place by which to conduct meetings, and that system being a recognizable system like Robert's Rules of Order. This Saturday's book club has been canceled. Our president has gone. She had a death in the family, so we're going to postpone it. But what I'm saying is we might end up doing a dual book club because we're going to be in this one for the rest of the year. We're not rushing through this, okay? We're taking it nice and slow. Some of us are probably going to be certified parliamentarians after we get done with this. That's a whole nother opportunity for income. But I think based on where a lot of people are in the group is that we might need a Think and Grow Rich. I'm sorry, Rich Dad, Poor Dad at this time to really help people make that change. So thanks for bringing that up, L. Lockett. I appreciate that.
And I'm also in Georgia.
Do what now? You're also in Georgia too?
Yeah, I'm in the state of Georgia too.
Awesome.
So I would love
Go
to
ahead,
get with Kimmy and Suzette.
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
To piggyback off that last book mentioned, there's a book that I read a long time ago, and I'm just refreshing myself with some synopsis. It's not directly business and entrepreneurship, but it's mindset. It's called Millionaire Next Door.
Ooh, I've heard of that one. I haven't read that one again. I need to order it.
You have not read that book?
I think I read that one.
Bro.
Millionaire Mindset, Millionaire
Yes.
Next Door.
Good.
I
It's
think
good.
I have.
It's really good.
Millionaires aren't rich. They fall in the blue collar. Most of the millionaires fall in blue collar, middle class, that have taken the time and energy and created that wealth for themselves in many different avenues. That sounds very familiar what we're doing, right? We all offer different services to make that buck. So
yes,
it's another good read.
right. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna have to order that one. I'm gonna have to get that one. Millionaire Mindset, the surprising. So the thing about it is too, you have to make sure you surround yourself with the people and things and all of that stuff that you are gonna kind of bolster you up when you're starting to kind of doubt yourself and all that. You can't really, I don't know. You can't rely on your own, I'm gonna just, willpower myself through it. Because you're gonna run into those bad times where that's not gonna be enough. So the more you ingest, you have to almost retrain your brain is a muscle. And what it's been doing for many years, if you've been working for somebody, is falling into that whole mode. So you have to retrain that muscle to fall into a different mode. And you're only going to do that if you're intentional about reading or either listening through audiobooks. Groups are good. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people are good, but you've got to read. I can't stress that enough. You have got to pick up some of these books and definitely read it. So we're probably going to pick up another book and do that alongside. That's adding a lot to my plate. But let me tell you, I don't mind picking up Rich Dad, Poor Dad again, because that was a very easy read. And it's always good to get refreshed on that kind of thing. So we might just add that. So be looking out for that. Sebastian, yes.
I think one of the things that people really overlook is the choice of whether to be an entrepreneur or not. There's a lot of people that get into this because they think, it's going to be easy money. I'll be able to make a lot of money really quickly, but they haven't chosen necessarily to be that entrepreneur. They're still in that, I guess, employee mindset. They have to make that choice of whether they want to continue to be an employee, whether it's to their, to a company or whatnot, or if they want to choose to be that entrepreneur that goes out and builds that business. If you don't choose that lifestyle, then there's no amount of information and knowledge that's ever going to change that. You're going to keep going back to the same thing. So that's one choice that has to be made. And then, of course, your advice of surrounding yourself with the things that are going to positively influence you in that direction.
Right. That's it, guys. Like, this is, hold on, let me get it pulled up really good in front of me. Hold on,
I think a lot of people just don't realize, I guess, the responsibilities that a business owner has. And if if it's not your boat, man, then you may need to look for something else. I think most of the people in here want to be their own business owners, though. So.
Right. And that's true. And it's hard. I don't know that, I think anybody can be an entrepreneur, but I do think you're right. I think you have to make a decision. And this is one of my favorite memes, this kid here. The entrepreneur, I didn't choose the entrepreneur life. The entrepreneur life chose me. Some of us have done this since we were kids. We were the ones that started the babysitting services, the lawn services, the lemonade stands, and you know, we've had that in us, a lot of us. But I'll be honest, that was me. But I still worked for many years. The only thing that pushed me into entrepreneurship ultimately was getting fired. I had it in me as a teen, but I was trained to go to school, get a degree, and get a job, and preferably a job that had a good retirement plan. And so up until 2011, that was me. So while it wasn't me as a teen, you know, societal and parental pressures said, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go get a job. So you have to kind of figure things out once you start getting that bug again. But maybe it will take something drastic to help you get there, because it did with me. They told me after working for 4 years or 3 years, however long, and 50-hour weeks and missing football games and kids practices and being late picking kids up from school because I was working late and I couldn't leave early and I had to stay at the meeting until it was over. They let me go. And it was at that moment that I said, I did all of this and you guys are gonna let me go because I won't break the rules? Like, I'm not understanding. And I made a decision at that very moment that if I could give as much of myself as I gave to that organization and they could dismiss me with such ease, there was no way in hell I was going to do that again with anybody. So that was the impetus for me. Maybe it will take something like that for some of you guys, but maybe not. For those of you guys who are working in W-2 right now, I would encourage you, don't get comfortable. Be blessed and thankful that you have a W-2 job. Be very strategic and save. Save. Put a year's worth of living expenses away. Once you get a year's worth of living expenses away, put another year's worth of living expenses away. I never say run from your job. I say plan your exit. I don't think it's smart to just quit and, oh my gosh, I'm going to do loan signings full time, and you hadn't really generated enough revenue to justify that decision. You have to be very smart, especially in the economy that we're in right now. So yeah, I just real big on, you know, I have to get, when I get pushed, when I get a foreclosure notice, sister girl is coming up with solutions. Okay. When I get fired, oh no. So with me, God is like, hey, boop, boop. Then this thing happens in my head. Like all these ideas, things are happening. And it will never, ever happen for you as long as you know you got a paycheck coming. When you do not have a paycheck coming, honey, let me tell you, okay? When you have children and you have a mortgage and you do not have a paycheck coming, you will not believe what will happen in here, okay? It's a couple things that you're gonna do. You're gonna either go try to get another job or you're gonna figure it out, all right? So that's kind of when you know things are happening with the entrepreneur stuff. James, you got your hand up, go ahead.
I may not have taken it down, but I'm going to echo on that fact is that, and I think I told you this in the email, I'm a pretty private person. And, you know, I've been in that situation that you're talking about where you lose a job, not at your own free will, and you have things that you have to pay for. And it becomes a very low point and a depressing point in your life. And it's what you're going to do to fix it. I'm currently listening to a Yale professor about happiness. She's got a beautiful podcast called The Happiness Lab. She actually created a course at Yale University. She's a psychologist, and she only expected 30 students to sign up for this class. She had over 1,200 students sign up for this class. She had to use a concert hall for the entire class the first semester. What she kicks herself in the behind about is she didn't collect enough data to know what was out. They actually offer this course, Yale University, this course online for free. And
oh my gosh, are you serious?
Send you the link. So happiness isn't about sitting on the sidelines and doing nothing. And I read a quote not too long ago. Action. Action is the key to depression. So you got to take action in your weak spots and when your low spots. You can't sit back and you can't let someone else make those decisions for you. And that's where I'm at. I no longer want to be a W-2 employee. Didn't want anybody to answer to anybody. At 51 years old, I'm done. I'm done taking orders. I'm not going to go back in. This is it. This is where I want to be. And I want to be able to take this business and move wherever I want to go when I retire. Could you imagine me at 90 years old walking up to someone's door to do a closing? I'll do it. But it's all about creating a revenue, right? We know that, but it's something that will keep sustaining us even through the tough times and or retirement. For me, that's those are my goals.
I love that. I hear it in your voice. I hear you're not. Some people you can hear the point of no return in their voice, and it takes having been there before to hear it. I hear it in your voice for sure. James, one thing I wanted to say to you before when you were talking about your background in banking, you've got some knowledge that the layperson would pay for. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you were ever on the commercial, not the commercial side, but the business side, or if you know the ins and outs on how to do things like finance a car, with getting business credit, or how to build your business credit at the bank, or that kind of thing. But if so, I kind of want to talk to you, because that's the next thing, being able to take these LLCs, okay, and know what the bank, I've heard so many different stories that you have to have a minimum of $10,000 in an account for so many days, and you get this internal bank score, and then that's when they offer you a business credit card, and all of these different stories. Like, backdoor stuff, banking stuff that entrepreneurs would love to know. I'm one of them, okay?
All right.
So
definitely let's schedule something, because I have a whole nother level to a business that's very similar to this. I'm not gonna let that cat out of the bag as of yet, but it ties into this 100%. And all it is flipping the type of business that we're doing. And I need help to figure that out. I'm not good at the business planning. I understand what my ultimate goal would be, but I'm a guy that goes 0 to 100. Hell, I drive in New Jersey. That's how we go. We're at a red light. We want the next red light. We do 100 miles an hour. We don't care what's on in between, right? That's personality. But I need to learn. I'm learning every day to step back out of that and ask for help. And I'm at the point where I think I need some guidance, and I need someone to bounce it off from. So I would love.
Let's do it. I'll get with Roxanne. I got your email, and then I'll look at the calendar, and we'll just work it out. We'll get on each other's calendar next week and do that, because I already know that you have a wealth of knowledge, and we just need to figure out how we could, which parts of it to pull out that would benefit the Notary Nerd University audience. And it's in that banking space. You got when you say operations manager, that's all I need to know. I just need to know what aspect that you can help the notaries with, and then we'll do the brainstorming on what you got going on, and we'll make it work. So
absolutely great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Shay, you got your hand up.
Actually, my question was for James, and it ties into what we were just talking about. How can we get business credit without using our personal credit? I don't want to use my personal credit. I want to use nothing but business credit. And I do have the DUNS number, and I am trying to, build it up. But here's the thing. I don't want to go out there and apply for multiple things, because when you do that, that brings your personal credit down, because they're doing searches on your personal credit. So what I want to know is, how can I do it without using my personal credit? Because we just bought a house, and credit is funny. Like,
you bought a house, you got a car payment, you got debt to income. Your debt to income ratio is probably really, really bad right now.
It is.
But when it comes to business, guys, and you're just starting out, and you're not a corporation where you have the books to show the revenue that's coming in and the anticipated revenue of the future, and because some banks and some investors give you that money, and I think that's part of the, maybe I'm just bouncing this through my head, is that maybe that's something we need for Notary Nerds is a class on how we can reach out to investors and what do they call it, the angel funds, those type of things, to help us do that, because banks are going to use your personal credit no matter what. if you're going to apply for a business card and it's going to be in a business name, your credit's still going to be pulled. It doesn't matter if you're on a corporate level or not.
Okay.
Until you get to that bigger we're talking millions of dollars, they're not going to really look at you. You're going to have to tie your personal credit into it. Now,
I'm sorry, I just got my bank account through my LLC. I just got the bank account through Chase, honestly. Since we moved to Smyrna, Chase is one of the bigger banks here. It's just they have more locations than who I was banking with previously. So I'm really leery about applying for it because, again, I don't want them to pull on my personal credit score because that's going to drop it. Do I have a good credit score? I really do.
But like he said, no matter what, until you get to that level, they're gonna pull it. Okay. So until your business shows the revenues, and even then they're gonna use you as a personal guarantee. So no matter what, they're gonna pull it.
Yep.
Yes, when you first start off, that's what happens. Because I talk with my bank and they're saying that they want 1 year of tax returns on my business and all of that. But I joined another group on Instagram and they were talking about business credit and they talk about tier 1 business credit, tier 2, and tier 3. And I could share the information with Monica and they tell you what you need to do first. Start off small and then like 3 to 6 months, then you start applying. And then maybe after 9 months, when revenues start piling up, or when you start generating revenue, that's when you can start going for gas cards, travel clubs, and all these different things. And then, if you really, get in the groove, you can start looking to get your cars in your business name.
So here's a thought, and all right, I'm going to take my personal experience. I've been in the situation where my credit is so bad, you couldn't get a car loan or 2 pennies from a bank. You have to build on that. You have to grow and fix that type of problem. So if you're in that situation, what they usually tell you to build credit is a secured credit card where you put a deposit in, they give you the credit limit to that part. That would help bring your score up. I like using Wallet Nerds and as well as Lending Tree for tips like that for banks that are out there. But again, there's no way around the personal credit part of it. It's just like going back to the address that we talked about at the beginning of this call. You need a physical address to do that. There's reasons why they do this type of thing. We know why. It's to make sure it's legit. It's not a fake business. Same thing. We do that when we do loan signings. We Patriot Act. We do IDs. We make sure things are copacetic and no red flags. Right.
Right.
Banks don't want to put their neck on the line for you and give you business credit without some sort of security on the backside of that. So
and what you're saying is they want at least what, $10,000 of revenue?
I made that number up. That's a made up number. I just was putting that out there. I don't know if that's the case for most banks.
Because like honestly, what I would prefer to do, the only thing that I really would need at this point, and this is Shay, I'm sorry, and I know I've been asking a lot of questions, but again, this has just been informative. But what I'm trying to just get is, honestly, I just want to pay for this damn $3,000 printer. Like, like I'm not even gonna lie. Like, all I really want is to make sure like my printer is up to date. And then I got an email earlier today from like Total Print where they do like rent to own printers. I don't want to go that route if I can get like a business credit card and actually pay off and build business credit versus somebody who's not going to report to my credit.
So I'm not a component for leasing. I don't like leasing cars. I don't like leasing printers. I don't like leasing because you have no equity. So when I outgrow this printer that I currently have, I sell this, right? I can make a few bucks off it. Yeah. It's still up and working. So your mindset has to be towards your budget and what can you do to put more money in your budget? And that's reselling something that who here's had yard sales because they got a basement full of stuff. We do that, Facebook Marketplace, that type of thing. So that's building those are the basic building blocks when it comes to finances, right?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, I do have some, you know, and let me see, when Monica and I get together, I think maybe a chat about finance, I think should be something that could be put on the plate. Just a basic class of understanding your finances and your business credit. Let me ask my brother-in-law, who's a CPA, to see if he's willing to do it. If not, we could maybe we could find someone to help us with that, because I think the basic building blocks is what's needed here.
Yeah.
Because
right,
business,
I think a business finance, like a real legitimate business finance class, just a basic bare bones class on how to deal with the personal credit thing, how to start to budget, all of that is the foundational class that I think we should have before we even start thinking about a business credit class. Like maybe it would be the prerequisite to the business credit class, because I think a lot of us need that refresher and the reality check that none of this works unless your personal credit score is where it needs to be. And to your point, James, I have been successful in getting private money. So for those of you guys who are looking at like Shay, that printer is just a hustle. Like he said, do the Gary V, sell some stuff, get on Google My Business, get your Google My Business popping. You're gonna have that money in absolutely no time. Your solution is a lot quicker or easier than you might think. It might not seem like it right now, but you've got a lot going for you. So you're in need for capital for that printer. It's just a matter of just grinding, hustling, and getting it. That's all that is. When it comes to growing your business, when James is talking about, if you're not in this place where you can go and get personal credit or business credit, then private money is there, because there are people with money sitting in a 401k and that money is doing them absolutely no good. I had two people that didn't know me from Adam give me $10,000 a piece from a real estate company. Okay, so as equity partners, they each have 4% equity ownership in my business. Every time I close a deal, they get a 4% return on their investment. I am outperforming what their 401k did. So it doesn't have to be this big elaborate angel investor with millions of dollars. There are regular people who, if you can show them how they're going to get their money back, they'll invest. Go ahead.
Y'all, you might even have a friend on your Facebook list that might have that kind of money and willing to do that. You just have to be brave enough to ask.
Okay.
Very, very true. And you have to, with investors, you have to show them how they're going to get their money back. So if you're not, so really revenue is important right now for a lot of reasons for you personally, but it's also your track record. So as you build your Notary Gadget or whatever accounting software you're using, that's going to be what you show that investor and say, hey, look, if I just had a little injection of cash here, I could really turn things up. But if you don't have anything to show them, then they're not going to be real quick to hand over $200 or $2,000, because they're not going to see how they're going to get that money back. So the focus should be on creating revenue by any means necessary, starting with your Google My Business. And before I go on, Saturday, Dan Jerkowitz with Bump It Marketing. He's also the director of marketing for Print Scan. When you Google live scan e-fingerprinting and Print Scan comes to the top, it's because of his expertise on Google. He is teaching Google My Business on Saturday. I have given up the reins. He's sitting in, and if I were you guys, that's the quickest way to get money as a notary, is having your Google My Business set up properly with the key terms, Notary Near Me. That's going to bring that $25, $30, $40, $50 in at a time. And that's going to get you what you need a lot sooner than anything else. So y'all
is this through Notary Nerds?
Yes, on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the calendar for Saturday. I think it's at 11 o'clock Central Time. I am going to be there as a student because I want to know his magic. Okay. L. Lockett, you got your hand up? Go ahead.
Yes, let's see. First of all, about the business credit, and when you get your DUNS number, Dun & Bradstreet gives you a credit score for your business, like the A or B or C or whatever. Because when I got my DUNS number and I logged into nav.com, they had already had a score there for me. And I just set up my profile there and everything. And then they have like You can get business loans or lines of credit and things like that for your business. Um, the ones that came up for me, I did not particularly I did not invest, I did not go with any of the companies that, because they like send companies to your profile that say that you are basically 95% approved. You just have to apply. And the ones that I looked up, I didn't care for them. They didn't have good, you know, good interest rates. So I'm waiting to get my revenues up higher so that I can get more companies trying to seek to lend money. So,
Right.
and that's what nav.gov. You get a whole profile there. You know about nav, right?
Yep. I actually
Okay.
was gonna pull the trigger on them and decided to hold off because I did get that private money, but I may revisit them. What she's referring to is there is a software or a company that actually helps people build business credit.
Right.
And their software is nav.com. Is it nav.com?
It's nav.com. NAV.com.
And from people that I've spoken with, it's worth the investment, the monthly investment. But I don't want to put too much on people who haven't even started generating revenue yet. If you haven't started generating revenue, I don't know that I would probably do that join that right away.
Right. Because they have your revenue, they have your personal score on there, your beacon number, everything on there. And every company that you will open business credit with will be listed there. And they will show your credit payment history and everything. And it's like a one-stop shop, but your payment history has to be good. And now I understand you pay your bills on the statement day, not on the day it's due.
Yes.
So if you pay it on the statement day, and when it's reported early. And if you pay in your business, if you pay your bills early, you have a better score than you would if you pay it on the date that it's due. Business credit is different than personal credit. We pay on the last day, last day. But that's not how you do in your business. It's a whole different mindset that you have to deal with business credit. So that will be one thing that we'll have to incorporate in your financial class.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for that.
And your personal credit score will be on there whether you know it or not. It will be there.
Right.
And
thank you very much.
Oh, but that was not my question. Actually, that was chiming in on that. I wanted to say you were talking about the people that still have a job and a W-2. My advice would be, if you want to start a business, start it now while you still have a job and you can fund it with your money there that you're making now with your W-2. You can just run it simultaneously. It could just be part-time here or there, whatever, but just get it started before you think about leaving. Because when you have a job, a W-2, you have health insurance. And right now I had a toothache, so you have dental insurance. So what I want to know when we get our business, how do we get health care for our new company, for our business?
That's a whole nother good question. That's a whole nother class too. I've had the same. I've kept my health care that I've had when I was.
I know. How do we get health care as our own business?
I'm not sure, but we definitely need an insurance, health insurance, life insurance, business insurance, everything insurance expert to come on and talk to us about that. Does anybody have any chime in on that?
I might have a contact I can reach out to.
Okay. That's a great question.
It would be better, and I'm not trying to be funny about it, but this is a business venture for you. It would be better if you set it up where Notary Nerds offered health insurance because you get group discounts.
Wow.
That sounds amazing, girl. That I had to chime in. That sounds good.
Monica, another feather in your cap.
What did you just do, Shay?
Yes.
Listen.
She created another business for you.
You see my eyes?
That was good, Miss Shay.
I'm
Ooh,
just saying, I
and
have
she slid
ideas
it
for
in there.
days,
Oh, sweet.
but
Expansion.
what I will say is this: a lot of the insurance companies, and this is just from prior knowledge, a lot of insurance companies, when you have one main company trying to get insurance for a group, it's cheaper.
It is.
It is. It is though. It is.
And if you offer insurance, more people will buy your university package.
Yeah.
Y'all stop trying to co-sign on Shay.
Come
Trying
on,
to get me to
Monica.
don't be trying to co-sign. Look,
You are our fearless leader. We found you out of nowhere on YouTube.
Literally.
Come on.
I'm gonna
No,
call.
Miss Shay, that was a good nugget for the night, though.
That
Come on,
was.
Miss Monica. Come on.
I'm
You
gonna
got
Okay.
10,000 of us in the group.
I know
Look,
that's
I'm gonna
right.
go ahead.
Wow.
I'm gonna contact Miss Cynthia Alexander, the instructor for Notary Permit Runner. She
Yes.
already told me to get some kind of insurance license, so I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she can't help us figure that out. Because that is a very good point. Group rates are group rates, so.
And on top of that, Blue Cross Blue Shield, look at them because they cover more doctors.
Okay.
Oh.
Sebastian, L. Everson, I'm gonna come to you, but Sebastian had his hand up before and he was patient, so I'm gonna get him off of mute real quick. Sebastian, did you have something for us?
Actually, going back onto that business credit, I just wanted a clarification from James. He had mentioned that your credit would basically something about being in the millions. So what I'm wondering is, would your the amount of money you have or the revenue have to be in the millions before they stop considering your personal credit?
No, but still, everything still gets tied back, guys, because they want to know if you're an individual business with one member, LLC with one member, two members, they want to make sure that you can still repay those debts.
Okay.
It's not until you get into those higher corporate. When I say corporate, you're talking high up there, like we're talking about Google's, Amazon's, that type of thing. They can build credit off of future revenues too. Banks seem to throw money left and right to those types of companies. But I've got a guy, as we're talking about, I got a guy I work with who is a business banker. I think what we can do is, let me talk to Monica and let's see if we can actually break this down a little bit so we can get some bullet points, understand what levels we're all at and how we get to the next level and what levels are out there. So, because it ties into your goals, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's the biggest.
I cannot wait to talk with you. I am looking forward to that. L. Everson, your hand is up.
So I'm not sure how your Notary Nerds is set up, but group rates only apply to associations or employers. So you can't get a group of people can't get together and then request a group discount. It has to be an association or like a union or an employer.
Okay. I mean, if it got to that point, we could set up an association. That's not difficult. But I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't realize that. So, but if it were to be something that we would seriously look at, and everybody was willing to do that, and it was like, $5 to join or something like that to create the association and do all the legal stuff that needed to happen, I'm pretty sure that we could. But I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't aware that you had to have that structure in place. But that makes perfect sense.
But Monica, aren't you leaning towards that when you were talking last meeting that you wanted to have the people trained in the women-owned business?
Yes.
So you're gonna get an association, correct?
It's a little bit different because with an association you get to join because you paid your membership dues. With the Notary Nerds Network, you've got to earn your way in. You've got to pass a 100-question exam that's been developed based off of Professor Cosen's book. You've got to be nice. You've got to be professional. You've got to be kind. You've got to do all these things before you can get into that network, because that network I'm going to promote to the attorneys at the ABA or the attorneys in my ABA database.
I know, but you will end up being a W-2 though, right? Or
no.
1099.
1099, yes.
Isn't that considered an association? You get
Oh.
all the people?
You know
No,
what? I don't know. Is it? I'm not sure.
no.
I
Okay.
think I saw something recently that
No.
Texas actually expanded the rules to where sole proprietors can now apply for health insurance through companies rather than having to just get personal insurance through a company. So I think the rules are state based. So every state is going to be a little different as to what they will allow. And then yeah, as far as being an association or whatnot, there's stuff you have to look up through there in order to become an association or employer. There's certain criteria you have to meet in order to be able to get those group discounts.
So I think based on income, right? So if you're just starting out your business, and your income's low, and you don't have a full-time job, I think the marketplace also based on income.
Right.
Now, and the other thing too is, I mean, the other luxuries, if you have a spouse that has insurance, because the rules written into the Affordable Care Act for healthcare is that if you work for company A and your spouse works for company B, and both companies offer each of the spouses their own insurance, right? You should get your company's insurance. It used to be where one spouse would pay for the insurance for everybody, right? Because now they're penalized by their corporation because that spouse has their own insurance, access to their own insurance through their W-2 company. If you have a spouse or a significant other, so don't forget, significant other doesn't fall just under a gay couple. It could be anybody that could fall into you might be able to have there's a loophole maybe there. I'm not saying there is, just saying there might be a loophole in there.
There is a loophole. The loophole is that as long as you guys have lived together for a certain amount of time, if you live together, that's the loophole.
And you're not related. I think that's definitely key in there. There might be a loophole.
Look at y'all with the little loopholes. Yes, L. Everson. Go ahead.
That's by state. That's only those states that recognize common law marriages. That's not, Michigan doesn't recognize a common law marriage.
Oh, okay.
Where
See, that's
people
where
that
it's gonna get funny. Who started this insurance conversation anyway that we can't do?
Lock.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
Well,
so
let me just say this. It is a state thing, but here's the thing. So this was give or take. Okay, so I've been married 5 years, with my husband 8. Before I got married, I was working for ACS. And with ACS, it was a contractor for the state of Tennessee. I was able to put my boyfriend at the time on my insurance because we lived together for over a year. Mm-hmm. So what it is, pay attention to one, what do they deem as a significant other? A significant other, like James said, as long as you're not related, but you live together. Because we lived together for a certain amount of time, I was able to put him on my insurance.
And what state was that? What state was that?
Tennessee.
Okay, so that's what she was saying. It's not going to be necessarily the case in every state.
Correct. Yeah. Tennessee is a common law state.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. Let me tell you about that. That divorce. Okay.
So Michigan is not. So I'm from Flint. So that's why I'm asking this question. Michigan do not honor common law marriages anymore?
No.
Wow, really?
No, Michigan is not a common law state. Two people just live together are not considered married in Michigan.
Okay.
In Ohio, yes. Michigan, no.
Okay. Georgia is not a common law state.
I would also think that it depends on the state, obviously. Domestic partnerships. So I've in my banking role, I once notarized for a young couple who, I forget what the situation was going to be. They couldn't get married for so many months, but they needed to change coverage. Oh, you know what it was? They're going to be moving out of state for one of their jobs. They weren't going to be married yet. So the one person quitting their job wasn't going to have insurance. So they just went and got the domestic partnership forms and then had it notarized. technically I married them sitting at a bank desk. And the only reason why they did that is because the company required proof of domestic partnership. So domestic
That's
partnership.
what it was. It was
Tax preparers can
that
do
was the
that.
terminology. It was domestic partnership. That's exactly what it was.
If you ever file jointly with somebody, that tax preparer is legally marrying you according to the eyes of the government.
That's true.
Wait a minute, y'all. Why do y'all want to wait
I
till we have
remember
2
that.
minutes left on the class to open up that can of worms? Okay. Well, I
One
don't
of
have to
my
worry about it
exes
because I'm
was
not
a tax
filing.
preparer, and she did that for several couples, and they did not realize it. She had to
business
inform
101.
them, and there were several people that backed out because they're like, "What? We're getting married," and that was a big no for them.
Wow. On that note, this has been an awesome call, you guys. Thank you so much for everybody sharing. This is what I love about this platform on Wednesday nights is for us to be able to do this. Where is Claire? Claire.
I'm here.
Zara.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You are now a leader amongst us when it comes to notarize.com. And Claire is in that stage where she's going through the second half of training. And I know how busy, super busy you are. But I wanted to see if I could connect you guys some kind of way because she's needing some help trying to figure that out.
Miss Claire, call me after the call. I know you call me this week. Just call me right after this call because I am swamped. But call me after this call. We'll talk.
Okay, if you could put your number in the chat or DM me.
I thought I
in
gave
the
you
chat.
my number. And look,
Yeah,
Miss
I
Mom,
think you did.
look what Notarize help us do. Can I show y'all this or how do I show y'all before we get
You
off the
know
call?
how we love to see your receipts, Sarah. So
But not the receipts. I want to show you the house how do I share y'all? How do I do that?
Go ahead, hit
Here
share.
we go. How do I turn
Share
around?
screen.
Oh, there we go. So look what I do. We just moved.
Oh, congratulations.
So you can't see, but I mean, we just moved like yesterday, right? So look how fancy I think I am, y'all. Don't look at we had to look
I got that same air mattress.
Yeah, I know, right? Look how fit, girl. I'm so excited. I'm like, we done leveled up. I got a Samsung washer dryer.
Girl, that's an $800. That's a $800 dryer. I went to shop and got something similar. I didn't spend that much on mine though.
Yeah, but Notarize paid for this. Y'all, I'm so excited. Look, I'm just so I look next. We just moved yesterday.
I am so proud of you, Zara. Are you buying?
And then look, I feel look at my sink, y'all. I feel fancy, girls. Look at the sink though. But anyway, I was just sharing though. Notarize did all of it, so I'm grateful.
I am so very proud of you, Zara. If you guys only knew back in October, November when Zara and I we crossed paths, Zara and Sebastian, and I don't think anybody else is on here. Narisa, they've been around for a while. And Zara really didn't know exactly how she was going to navigate this business. And this was back in the fall of 2020. Now look at her. Look at her.
Yes, thank y'all.
So Claire,
awesome.
Did you have Zara's number or did you still need it?
I'm checking now.
Let me just send it to you before we chime out directly, and then we'll. How do we do this, y'all? I'm not.
You want to
remember? You just go to the chat list and just find me. You can DM me.
Okay, okay, here we go. I just sent it to you right now, Miss Claire. So just call me right after this call.
Okay, we'll do. Thanks.
Super. And Miss Monica, I cannot wait girl. I'm ready for I bought my ticket for next month. Oh, I'm gonna see you next. Yes. So I need to find this Airbnb though. What are people staying at the hotel? What are they doing?
Hotel, $109 a night is as cheap as you're gonna find. Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and stay at the hotel. You don't even want to worry about doing an Airbnb and all that kind of stuff. Even though you probably could find a decent one, it's just gonna be.
No, I'm gonna just stay with everybody else then. So that's what everybody's doing.
I got a room block, $109 a night, DoubleTree by Hilton. Okay,
so I just need to. So the only thing I need to do is secure the room now and get a rental car. Correct.
Correct, because you're gonna need to come from. If you're flying into BNA, it's gonna be probably at a $40 Uber from the airport to the hotel.
And if anybody want to ride with me, I'll pick anybody up.
And
I'm
Shane's in
sorry, what's
Florida,
going
so
on?
if y'all want to coordinate that and y'all all right.
Well, Kim, if Ms. Monica, can you create a thread inside of the Notary Nerds, or not you, but the team? Can they create a thread for Notary Nerds who's going to the event, and then we can all connect from there? Does that make
That'll
sense?
work. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely we'll start working on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
oh, I'm driving actually. So you Georgia people, let me know. I'm driving.
We'll definitely get that thread going. You guys, thank you for another awesome meet and greet. They never, ever, ever disappoint. They always, this 2 hours is the fastest 2 hours I've ever experienced in my life because it's just so like this. James, I'll be shooting you an email here in just a second so we can get on each other's calendar. Kimmy, thank you very much for sharing your YouTube channel with everybody. Y'all go support her. Claire, thank you for sticking in there. Sebastian, thank you for being you. Narisa, thank you for always being there.
I sent you an email today, so check
I
in with
saw
me.
that.
Okay.
Yep, I saw that. Thank you very much for that. I'm coming. Trust me, you put it out there now, so here I come. Okay. So you guys have a great evening. James, thank you so much for sharing all the nuggets. I can't wait. You guys, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye. And Miss Claire, call me right now, please. Bye,
Okay,
y'all.
we'll do.
Night.
Night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.